Hello and welcome to IS Primers. In this video, we'll be talking about an emerging technology that is blockchains. And whenever we talk about the blockchains, the focus, what comes to our mind is cryptocurrency. Most common is the bitcoins. However, the blockchain and bitcoins are different thing. Blockchain is the technology or the platform on which bitcoins are based. And given this emergence of this new technology, world over there is the focus on having advancements in the field of blockchains. So people are trying to incorporate blockchains into various sectors like applications in the field of data management, banking, governance, etc. So in this regard, the government of India also feels that it should focus on blockchains. And as a result, this strategy paper had been released by the government in 2021. Now coming to the examination point of view, this blockchain is going to be important from your general studies paper 3 mains science and tech, and a question could be asked in this way like application of the blockchains, or it could be about the positives and negatives when it comes to blockchains, or positives or challenges. So let us see what is a blockchain, because writing anything you need to define it first. So the blockchain it is believed to be an improvement over the earlier system. The earlier system or the present system is based on centralized database. So let us consider the case of Aadhaar card, right? So Aadhaar details are centralized, located in a single database. So anybody wants certain data, it takes it from the database again. So it retrieves it from a single place. Now when it comes to the centralized database, the concern is that the data is stored in a single place. So there is an increased incentive. It attracts the people who want to rob the data. Everything is stored, like all the jewels are stored in one place. So the thieves want to come there only. And there is a lot of advantage if they are able to breach into one system. So for instance, in the year 2018, Aadhaar cards, many of them details were revealed by the hackers and sold to the black markets. So the inherent problem is that of the hacking. It is prone to hacking, or somebody may try to, in position of power, may try to tweak or make changes to the central database illegally. So this too brings to the question of accountability. That is, who is accountable for having this safeguard or safeguarding this from hacking, or that mutability does not take place. So in this reference, the blockchain is said to be an answer to this problem over here. So in blockchain, it basically says that, let's say, whenever a data is added, so when an entry is made or a transaction is made, then in that case, a block will be created. So this block is basically the entry or the basic details that are mentioned. Like for instance, if we are using Aadhaar, blockchain and Aadhaar, then in that case it will have the personal details of a particular person. Then this block will have certain ID card. So this we call it as hash. Likewise, there will be more and more blocks, because every time an entry is made, a new block will be created. And each block has these three things, that is data, hash, and the hash of the previous block. So the hash of the previous one is very important. So let's say we're writing it in a very simple way, hash 1, hash 2, hash 3. It is not like this, it's basically a long line of alphabets and numbers, but for simplicity's sake. Okay. So what is happening is data, hash and previous hash. That means this block is linked to this and this block is linked to this. So a blockchain has emerged. An interlinkage has taken place. And the advantage of hash and having a previous hash is that, let's say somebody tries to make a change to this block. So when somebody tries to make a change, so a new transaction would be done, and the hash value of this block will change. So let's say it is hash 4 now. Hash 3 was occupied, so hash 4. Now this block number 2 will have the previous hash of This one, the one in yellow. So it will have the value of hash 1. But when it is authenticated, it is seen that it is hash 4. So it knows, the system knows that there is some problem. So it doesn't authenticate it. It stops there and there. So this is how the blockchain is an improvement. So if anybody tries to change a particular block, a particular value, then it will reflect in other blocks also, because it will have the value previous, it will tally with the previous hash. So blockchain, when we talk about the blocks, it is, when you're talking about the definition now, all the transactions shared across entities along with the timestamp are maintained as records and placed in blocks, right? So whenever something is done, then a block is created. Now these blocks, let's say there are more number of people, let's say Aadhaar, so government has various departments, so there are more entities, entity 1, entity 2, 3, etc. So in that case, the entire data sets or entire blocks will be copied and shared to other people, other participants or stakeholders in the same network. Clear? So it will go to different people, the same data set or same set of blocks. So these blocks are linked as blockchain and stored in distributed manner across various nodes of the network. It is with different nodes. And copy of each transaction along with its hash is stored in the ledger and shared across all participants of the network. So all participants are given the same data set over here or same set of blocks. Now this has an advantage that each person has its unique key. Now let's say somebody tries to change, attacks the data of 1, or 1 tries to illegally do it also, right? Then in that case, the system will automatically check with the data of 2 and 3. It will tally and authenticate. So if this does not match, then again it means the system was corrupted and it will stop there and then. So this has this dual protection, one at the level of previous hash, and then when each person or a participant has a distinct key. So the hacking or changing the data mutability becomes very, very difficult. And this makes the system more accountable. Hence, it is able to address the concerns that were previously mentioned. Now, this is a system that is based on distributed ledger. Distributed ledger, because ledger means records. Like when we talking about the finance accounts also, there are also ledgers over there. So each entry is mentioned and it is shared across different participants. So it is a distributed ledger technology. And it is suitable for decentralized and transactional data. And it is shared across a large network of untrusted entities. It's basically shared across various players, so we do not know if somebody tries to, if a system is hacked, if some let's say 3 system is hacked, or 3 tries to make a change illegally. So if it tries to make, it will reflect in 2 and 1. So this has the benefit of pseudonymity, that is, the details of the person is not revealed. It is saved in a different form. It has cryptographic guarantees. It is immutable. Once the data is fed, it cannot be changed. It has shared read and write, because the memory, if the things are shared across different blocks. Accountability, transparency, and distributed ownership. In fact, the very idea of blockchain was introduced in 1991, and that was done so that the people cannot make changes. Once the entry is made, they are not able to make changes to the timestamp. Ultimately, somebody tried to make bitcoins in 2009, used its same technology for making bitcoins. Now coming to the application. So application is far beyond the use of the currency. It has application in various sectors like banking sector, governance, healthcare, supply chain, etc. Because in all of this you will see that, let's say we're talking about the banking sector also. So here there is a bank, right? Somebody makes an account over here. So there are different branches. So the data has to be shared across different lots. Then there are different departments within the bank, right? So the data has to be stored. So blockchain has an advantage in these areas. Plus it provides the benefit of privacy and accountability. So banking, governance, whichever way, it has a lot of advantage. And then the blockchain has this advantage of creating a level of trust, a guarantee that the data is immutable. There is better cryptographic protection. So once the data is fed, it cannot be changed. So this is an advantage, and therefore it gives a sense of assurance to the citizens. So the citizens are also going to be, they'll not hesitate when giving data with the government or anybody. And this can create a lot of value addition when we talk about e-governance. So this was the application front. Now the government of India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has been focusing on the blockchain technology, and in this regard it is trying to identify various domains in which the blockchains can be implemented: governance, cyber security, etc. Then in a district of Telangana, Shamshabad district, the state government has been able to implement a property management system in this district. So property management system. When registration takes place, everything, land records have been digitized. So they are doing this with the help of blockchain. Now when we talk about the property management system, the concern with the people is that somebody trying to tamper with the property details. Property is something quite valuable to a particular person, right? So in this regard, this blockchain technology is seen as a step in the right direction. In fact, there is a lot of references of a property management system in this strategy paper. Now this was done by the help of Center for Department of Advanced Computing, CDAC. So it has its mission known as Blockchain Mission. This is a government initiative for promoting blockchains, and this pilot thing that was done in this district was done with the help of CDAC. So the CDAC mission has, it is basically tasked to encourage the blockchain technology in the country. So it is preparing a unified blockchain framework, then blockchain services for blockchain applications for different domains. The idea is to create some sort of framework, laws or arrangements in which the blockchain technology will be implemented, as well as create that application, create some sort of groundwork on which the government as well as the private sector can take advantage of. In fact, similar thing has already been done in China, where they have invested in the blockchain technology and now giving it to the private sector. Now coming to the challenges associated with the blockchains. Now please remember that the blockchain is a work in progress. It is a work in progress, and it is only in the cryptocurrencies that we have seen most of the blockchains. So still there are a lot of shortcomings in this technology. So during the process of the blockchain mission of the CDAC, number of things or challenges were identified. So first is scalability and transaction speed. Now remember, when we talk about the blockchain, this blockchains and the set of data is shared across different entities, and every time authentication is being done. So this has a tendency of slowing down the system. So when a transaction is made, it slows down the system because every time it authenticates across various nodes or various networks. So this is a problem over here, right? It has to check at level 1 with key of the number 2, number 3, etc. And so many people would be there. So they are trying to find ways of increasing the speed, and then only we can scale it to a much larger arrangement when we talk about the governance. Next is data security and privacy. See, the data blockchain is being given to different entities. Earlier it was with only a centralized database, so everything was stored in one place. But now the same set of data has been given to different people. different stakeholders. So privacy is compromised. Yes, there is cryptographic protection and all those things, but privacy is compromised because the data is being shared across different verticals. And this also raises the concern of data security. Next is standardization and interoperability. Now, since we are giving the data across different nodes or different people, stakeholders, participants, so it will have to operate across different systems, machines, right? Therefore, there is a need to standardize the blockchain technology so that it is able to function on different departments for different verticals. So this is very important over here. And we need to learn how to use artificial intelligence and data analytics when it comes to blockchains. Another interesting concern is the regulatory aspects. Regulatory aspects because let's say, the government has stipulated certain localization norms. The data has to be stored in a particular place, particular server. But now we are saying that it can be stored across different places. So this raises certain complications which were not thought of. Likewise, the banking has its own set of regulations. The RBI has said that we do not recognize cryptocurrency. So when they do not recognize crypto, there is a natural roadblock towards blockchain technology. So, and including, I'll tell you one more thing, the IT Act has section 43B. So this does not have a dedicated provision for privacy. So there are a lot of concerns since it is being used across different verticals and different applications. So we'll have to look at it individually one by one. So this needs to be addressed over here. Then blockchain is new, so therefore there is no ecosystem or supportive framework. We have to develop that. And then it is on a decentralized infrastructure. So it is in different machines. So there may be concerns about how the networking would be done, what would be the cost involved, the manpower involved, right? So all of this will have to be worked out when we talk about the blockchains. And yes, there is always a shortage of skilled manpower in our country. So these are the potential challenges that have been identified during the process of blockchain mission by CDAC, and these need to be rectified. Now, this national strategy paper has given a set of recommendations or a roadmap as to how the blockchain can be incorporated in our country. So first it says that there should be a national level blockchain framework. Framework is the norms and the guidelines as to how the government and the private sector will work on the blockchain. Then it is talking about the need to focus on advanced research on blockchain, of course, and evolve indigenous technology stack with open APIs. So we need to develop the indigenous technology, India-based technology, and then we can scale it up so that private sector can take advantage of this and eventually become a world leader in the field of blockchains. Creation of infra as national resource and offering blockchain as a service, BaaS. So this is a part of point number 3 itself. Then having provisions for consultancy services as to how the blockchain architecture would be designed. Integrate blockchain technology with other emerging technology areas such as artificial intelligence. So this was one of the challenges that was mentioned. Then capacity building in blockchain technology, and for capacity building, this is important, that need to focus on sandbox environment for incorporating or implementing blockchains. Sandbox environment. So basically, these technologies are emerging technologies. So this was done in the field of financial technologies, and this was a success. In this, what happens is, let's say a new player comes, the regulator or anybody does not know what next the technology is going to throw up. So in this reference, certain areas are demarcated where there is a scope of innovation. So complete flexibility is given, regulatory hurdles are removed, and they try to implement a service in a pilot basis. So this is observed quite carefully by the regulator also. So once it is a success, it is scaled up and given to the market. So this is the sandbox environment. So the same can be implemented in the field of blockchain. Address the regulatory aspects and the policies that I just mentioned, and lastly, explore the potential of blockchain technologies in various sectors. So this is all I have in this particular video. Thank you for streaming in, and please do remember to like, share and subscribe. These videos take a lot of time, and your appreciation really helps us and motivates us. Thank you for streaming in. Bye bye, take care and all the best.